Coming up on Naperville News 17, positive votes for a major new development. Gregory middle schoolers take on an amazing race. And some furry friends strike for a pose. Hello everyone, I'm Kevin Jackman in for Kim Pierce. Thanks for joining us on this week's Naperville News. A new 5-story apartment building is coming to Citygate Center. Naperville News 17's Christine Lena tells us about the recent approval.
The Planning and Zoning Commission unanimously approved a 285-unit apartment building with a roof-level event center to be built at Citygate Center.
The residential component will create an excellent synergy between the existing offices as well as the hotel, as well as supporting the service retail, while the event center will bring in additional 38,500 square feet of new programming space to considerably enhance the operations of Hotel Arista.
The empty 5 acres on the northeast corner of Westings Avenue and Citygate Lane will become a 5-story multifamily complex. It will include an enclosed pedestrian walkway to connect to the Citygate Center buildings to the north, such as Hotel Arista and K Fagata. The project was designed by Callison RTKL and will be owned and operated by Calamos Venture Group.
One comment, which is I think it's a beautiful project. I mean, I can tell you've been working on it for a long time. It's stunning. It'd be something I would definitely be excited to see. So
that cohesive design led the commission to send a unanimous positive recommendation to Naperville City Council. Reporting for Naperville News 17, I'm Christine Lena.
This project comes after Citygate Center North, an event center and ice arena was approved last year and should be completed by fall 2020. A security breach exposed the personal information of more than 50,000 past and present Naperville area students. Pearson Clinical Assessment recently notified school districts 203 and 204 of the data breach that came from an unauthorized third party. It affected student information from its Ames Web 1.0 product, which tracks students' academic progress for both school districts. Pearson told the districts that the student data affected was limited to first and last names and some rare cases of birth dates. District 203 reports the breach involved approximately 3,700 students enrolled at that time and 800 staff members' names and school email addresses. District 204 reports approximately 49,000 students and 2,300 staff members were involved. Pearson has provided no evidence that any data was misused, but had provided a free credit monitoring service from Experian available to any student enrolled between 2001 and 2016. More information about this service is available on both District 203 and 204's websites. Any additional questions can be addressed to Pearson Clinical Assessment at amesweb1request@pearson.com. Everyone knows breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and thankfully some students won't have to worry about their morning meal after District 203 board members voted to extend a free breakfast program. Eligible free and reduced lunch students from Mill Street and Scott Elementary, along with Jefferson and Madison Junior High, can once again partake in the program. Administration officials told District 203 board members how teachers and parents reported seeing the benefits last year's pilot program had on students. District officials estimate the program will cost around $58,000 for the 4 schools. More data on the program's effects on students will be presented to the board in the future. Also at the meeting, school board members discussed the creation of a data dashboard to add another self-evaluation tool for its Focus 2020 campaign. District staff presented the Illinois Interactive Report Card, which provides some of 203's educational statistics such as graduation rate and academic progress. The board gave their thoughts on the dashboard, including how often it should be updated and what information they'd like to see added to it, such as athletic achievements and college acceptance rates. A formal prototype of the board's input will be presented at a future meeting. At the latest Riverwalk Planning, Design, and Construction Committee meeting, commissioners shared 8 future ideas for the Riverwalk. Our Christian Canizal shares with us what was discussed.
Changes to one of Naperville's top attractions could be coming, as PDC commissioners discussed several development guidelines for the Riverwalk. Some ideas included work on the north and south shoreline between Main Street and Washington Street. The commission also brainstormed ideas for the Grand Pavilion.
Reimagining the Grand Pavilion and the adjacent parking lot on the west extension is another project. This project could enhance the existing structure, providing a more usable space for all the races and activities that take place there.
Another guideline pitched was the addition of bike lanes on the east extension from Hillside Road to Washington Street.
This project would design a pathway that would be safe for both pedestrians and bicyclists.
Access to the Riverwalk could be made easier with ramps connecting the upper walkway of the Eagle Street Plaza to the lower walkway. Expanding the Riverwalk from Hillside Road to Martin Avenue was also discussed. The PDC wants to continue its partnership with North Central College to build the Washington Street Park.
The last guideline presented was to rehabilitate Mosier Tower. A current assessment is being done on the structure. Once completed, it will go to City Council, who has the final decision on whether or not to tear down Mosier Tower or repair parts of it. For Naperville News 17, I'm Christian Canizo.
The commissioners will continue their discussion on development guidelines in future meetings and hope in 2020 they can finalize them. After the break, Naperville leaders react to the tragic shootings in Texas and Ohio.
Edward Elmhurst Health presents this Healthy Driven Minute.
Backpack safety is important because we always run with the problem worrying about if children's backpacks are too heavy. It could cause a multitude of problems for our children. Back problems, neck problems, shoulder problems, even poor posture. A backpack is too heavy when it is more than 10 to 15% of that child's body weight. If a child is, say, 80 pounds, it should be no more than 8 to 12 pounds. Start with a lightweight fabric, so something like canvas rather than leather. You want a backpack that is not wider than the child's torso. You also want a backpack with nice padded shoulder straps. You want the backpack to not sit more than 4 inches below the waistline. Chest straps and waist straps are also helpful to distribute that weight evenly in the backpack.
For more information, visit eehealth.org.
With recent mass shootings, a Naperville group is bringing awareness to the issue and wants the public to learn how gun violence can be prevented. Reporter Aisha Ashley Hausa takes us inside the town hall meeting.
A newly formed group, Our Safety, recently hosted a gun safety town hall at the 95th Street Library. Gun violence is an issue that came close to home after the Aurora shooting back in February. And with the latest shootings in El Paso, Texas and Dayton, Ohio, it became even more of a timely topic to talk about. That's why the group of District 204 high school students wanted the public to learn about how gun violence can be prevented. About 200 people filled the room to voice their concerns to the panelists.
Well, the aim of this town hall today is not to focus on our policy or focus on the Second Amendment or restricting the rights of those who bear arms, but it's that all these different groups, they have these different perspectives, and maybe if we can bring that together and voice that to our policymakers, we could have a multifaceted solution to keep this community in Naperville safe.
To begin to work on a solution, Representative Lauren Underwood, State Senator Laura Ellman, State Representative Stephanie Kifowit, Councilman Kevin Coyne, Will County Board Member Mimi Cowan, and Naperville Police Commander Bob Lee formed the panel.
Be there, be available, and be face-to-face. I think that is one of the best ways to strike down and tamp down the fear and the anger that has driven so many of the people that are doing these mass shootings.
This year, for the first time in decades, through our appropriations process, which is how at the federal level we disperse funds to different programs, we have authorized $50 million for 2 different programs at the federal level to study gun violence.
We know that most gun owners are responsible and secure those guns because they don't want their guns used to hurt someone. That no one wants that. So education about how to do that and how to properly secure guns would address, like I said, a small part of this issue, but it is a broad and complicated issue.
Some gun owners were in attendance as well to get their voices heard.
I had fabulous conversations with the other side, and I think they saw a rational man in me. Honesty must be honored, and that means both sides. That's the slogan that I hope my side carries through it. We are honest people that own guns, and we need to be treated as such.
Whether the solution is to take away guns or not, Councilman Coyne wants to understand why shootings are happening more frequently.
What has happened in our society that is leading kids to want to do this? I think that's the tougher, maybe scarier question. Because these things did not used to happen until recent decades.
Representative Kifowit believes starting with programs that support creating a healthy family environment will help foster productive kids. The student group Our Safety, along with other local groups, are working towards a brighter future.
Seeing youth step up who aren't in power yet, but at some point in the future will be, is super empowering to me, knowing that we are the future, we are the ones we've been waiting for.
Reporting for Naperville News 17, I'm Aisha Ashley Hausa.
Congressman Bill Foster discussed the issue of gun violence at a vigil to honor the victims of the Dayton and El Paso shootings. Moms Demand Action, the League of Women Voters, and other members of the public joined Congressman Foster at the Free Speech Pavilion on the Riverwalk.
Well, I think there is no substitute for the voices of ordinary Americans in the very important debate and continuing debate that we're having on gun violence.
Though he was unable to attend, Representative Sean Casten sent a speaker who read a statement on his behalf. Other speakers from area groups also discussed the issue of gun control and universal background checks. The vigil ended with a moment of silence to honor those killed in the shootings. Foster also said you don't need to attend a protest to speak on the issue of gun control. Contacting your representatives is an effective way to make your voice heard. A new school year is right around the corner, and a local Catholic Charities group is making sure everyone is ready. Catholic Charities Diocese of Joliet hosted its 29th annual Back to School Fair. Qualifying families can get everything they need, from backpacks to haircuts, absolutely free. DuPage residents lined up at the DuPage County Fairgrounds for school supplies and much more. About 70 vendors had information on job opportunities, educational resources, and even medical services.
We're very excited to have partners from DuPage Medical Group, Amita Health, and Advocate Health to provide nurses and doctors to give the children who need grade level physicals as well as sports physicals on site.
More than 4,000 people attended the event this year. Going from elementary to middle school isn't easy, so a Naperville middle school held a race to make the journey a little easier. Our Christian Canizal takes us from the start to the finish line.
Sixth graders, have fun, be safe, and enjoy your time at the amazing sixth grade race. Team leaders, you may now give your team their start card and go!
And with that, teams are off, navigating through Gregory Middle School's hallways, trying their best to win the amazing race. The second annual event is meant to ease sixth graders' transition from elementary to middle school.
In elementary, there's no transitions. You don't, switch classes very often. You don't have a locker, more choices at lunch. So some of those things we want to give them exposure to before they step foot on day one.
Groups of students were divided up into teams, running from one end of the school to the other.
Using a travel guide, teams hit the school's key locations, including the gym, the nurse's office, cafeteria, and even the library. While there, teams completed a couple of tasks along the way, at times some puzzles, collecting clues that pointed them to their next location.
The race also featured some physical exercises, and students had to practice opening up several lockers.
Yes! We got it!
Students came away feeling confident for the upcoming school year.
I think I'm going to be better at knowing the school and the combination for the locks and where the rooms are.
Though there was a winner,
Go Pioneers!
Student volunteers from last year's race say at the end, everyone walks away winning.
I felt like a winner because I got to know a bunch of kids. I got to make new friends, and I felt like no matter what, it was a win for me because I got to know my way around the school. I met my teachers, and I got a lot of good friends out of this.
For Naperville News 17, I'm Christian Canizal.
The event also included a Q&A with 7th and 8th graders to help the 6th graders better understand what life is like at Gregory. Coming up, a generous gift for a special teacher.
Naperville Crime Stoppers.
Yes, I'd like to report some suspicious activity in my neighborhood. How does this work?
Yes, thanks for calling. Your call is anonymous, and I'll not ask for your name. Instead, you'll be identified by a tip number. In a few weeks, call back with the tip number you received, and I will let you know the status of your tip. If an arrest is made, you could receive a reward up to $1,000.
How do I get the reward money if you don't know who I am?
Well, when you call back, we set up a time and a place to drop the money. You will be safe, and nobody will know you gave Crime Stoppers a tip.
Okay, well, here's what's going on.
The dog days of summer are here. Just ask NCTV's newest team member, Scoop. You can find this canine with the camera keeping a watchful eye at the corner of Webster and Water Streets, helping NCTV 17 get the scoop on what's happening around town. To fetch the latest from Scoop, just get your paws on a smartphone or computer and visit nctv17.com/subscribe to sign up for free news updates.
And that's what's happening right here in Naperville.
And while you're at it, show Scoop some love. Vote for him as your favorite painted pup at downtownnaperville.com/sculptures. Thanks for your support and have a doggone great summer.
Naperville residents were encouraged to get out and meet their neighbors and community members at National Night Out. Naperville News 17's Casey Krajewski dropped by one of the night's biggest events.
National Night Out brought Naperville residents from at least 45 neighborhoods into their community. One such party was thrown by the Compass Church, hosting for the first time across the street from their future South Naperville campus.
I had heard of National Night Out over the years, never really participated. I knew it was something for neighborhoods to do, kind of a neighborhood block party. But the idea struck that, why not take advantage of an opportunity where the community would want to come out together, kind of a final fling over the summer to get people together.
And they certainly pulled out all the stops. Bounce houses, food trucks, yard games, balloon animals, and even live music kept the crowd busy.
This has now been going on for about 6 or 7 years in Naperville, and every year it's gotten better and better. So it's great to see the community embracing it.
National Night Out is also called America's Night Out Against Crime and is a nationwide effort to improve police-community relations. Naperville police officers and other emergency responders made appearances at events across the city to encourage that partnership and give safety tips.
It gives the opportunity for neighbors to get to know each other so they can develop relationships, strengthen those relationships, know who's in your neighborhood so that they can help our police department be the eyes and ears of the police department.
Bringing together communities, one party at a time. For Naperville News 17, I'm Casey Krajewski.
Residents who attended a National Night Out event were encouraged to make a donation to Family Shelter Service. A local middle schooler's writing assignment became her first published book. Our own Christine Lena has the story.
In a dull and dreary city, a man works day after day for the money he thinks will bring him joy. Then a strange yellow balloon begins to follow him everywhere he goes.
Joy is a children's book with a uniquely deep meaning. It tells the tale of a yellow balloon that follows a workaholic father to help him find happiness again. Most children's book authors are years past their childhood when they first get published. But Audrey Yoon is an exception, penning her first fiction at the age of 11.
It was interesting, and I think for a children's book, they're kind of just simple, like rhyming words and not really anything there, but I wanted something like deeper, so it was a way I could disguise it in children's book.
It was in Audrey's 6th grade English class where she was first assigned to write her own children's book and create her own characters and meaningful messages. After her teacher suggested joy had promise, Audrey's dad contacted a publisher to turn her homework into hardcover.
He calls me and the first thing he says is this story about you? And I was like, she says no. And then he said the second thing that he thought was, is this story about me? And he was really kind of taken by the uniqueness of it's not just a classic kids book and it's not just a fable and a lesson to be learned. It kind of is somewhere in between there.
Working with an illustrator was Audrey's favorite part of the publishing process.
I liked what he did with the coloring because that's what I really wanted.
After 2 years, the book was finally released this past July, leaving impressive marks with her longtime educators.
You know, you talk about our school mission statement of being self-directed and a community contributor. She's really not only contributing to the reading community and children and adults that might read that story, but she's really inspiring other kids to do what she did.
Now the 13-year-old will be inspiring classmates as she enters 8th grade with a book under her belt. Reporting for Naperville News 17, I'm Christine Lena.
Joy is available for purchase on Amazon, Books A Million, Mascot Books, and at Barnes & Noble. Word of Life Lutheran Church's inaugural Paint the Wall event brought out some of Naperville's best painters. A sunset on an ocean, a bear, and many more masterpieces were painted as community members showed off their artistic skills on a wall. The event was funded by Thriven's Action Groups, which provided the church with a grant. Though amazing paintings were made, the brushes and palettes created more than just artwork.
Some of the kids that are over there now, they may not have ever met each other, so they get a chance to paint with each other, have fun with each other, and maybe have a connection. So anything the church can do, not just our church, but other churches in the area, to help people connect with one another, this wall is a great avenue towards that.
The event lasted a week, and participation was so overwhelming that the church added another wall to meet the demand. The church will display the finished wall art piece inside their building for the public to enjoy. Many students like to give their teachers a gift at the end of the year, but this one is a bit more special. Aisha Ashley Hausa tells us more.
Ready now. Yes, they are. Oh, yes. Oh my gosh, I love it.
The happiness is clear on Becky Pantano's face as she rides her new bike, specially designed for those affected by multiple sclerosis. The teacher's assistant at Scullin Middle School uses a cane to walk as the disease impacts her legs.
I really have a hard time doing a lot of things, which is frustrating because I have 3 young kids and I want to go with them, and I see the other moms going, and I have to make silly excuses why I can't go so I don't stand out.
She's most excited that she can now go on family outings like Six Flags Great America, participate in the MS Walk, and be more mobile while working at school. And all this became possible thanks to one of her students, Peter Morton.
We decided to help her, that we could see if everybody could donate to get her this bike. And at first we thought that it might be hard, but everybody chipped in and donated in this wonderful community and got her this bike.
Peter's mother, Kim Morton, started a fundraiser to help reach the $2,800 goal to buy the bike. Local business owners Nancy Quigley of Quigley's Pub and Mike and Vicki Nelson, owners of Little Pops, are among those who pitched in.
And all the kids affectionately referred to her as Mrs. P with her white sunglasses and her Jolly Ranchers, and she just made school a really fun place to be. So I was not surprised that we were able to raise the money so quickly.
Mayor Steve Churko was also invited to attend the teacher's first ride. Pantano even named her new 3-wheel ride, in part as a tribute to Peter.
Because Shark is the Scullin mascot, which is the Peter part, and sharks are strong and fierce, just like I want to fight my disease. And I think just coming together, it just was a great name for the shark, and we're Sharktastic!
Reporting for Naperville News 17, I'm Aisha Ashley Hausa.
The MS bike is officially called the A-Linker Walking Bike. Up next, inspired by the U.S. national team, a local soccer coach trained some of Naperville's best.
One of our core values at Red Arrow is to support the local community. We support local breweries, but we also support local charities. And each month we select a local charity to be our charity tap of the month. Every time an ounce is poured out of that tap, we donate 5 cents back to that local charity. It's a great program to really involve the local community and also local breweries as well.
Thanks, Joe and Red Arrow.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
Gripping the nation with dynamic play and off-the-field flair, the U.S. women's national soccer team has inspired the next generation of youth soccer.
But the U.S. bring to us so much passion. Another first place, another World Cup to the U.S. This is amazing. It's just like, I'm from Brazil. I love my team, I love my country, but I love the game.
Gigi Barreto would know the fervor surrounding a national team, seeing that she was a part of Brazil's World Cup squad spanning the late 80s through the 90s as a goalie.
I never thought in my life I could play on that level that I played on the national team. That was a surprise because when I started my career I was a forward and I play on the midfield. I play as a sweeper. And then one time the goalie in our team when I was back in Brazil got hurt and she doesn't want to play goalie anymore. And then the coach say, hey, who's going to be goalie? Who's going to help us play goalie? I'm like, I can do it.
The commitment and passion that Barreto had while she played goalie for Brazil is what she and her business partner Eddie Palacios are trying to teach the next wave of young talent through the Wolf Soccer Club in Naperville.
You need to be competitive and you need to have passion. And I have the passion. I'm competitive. But right now I'm feeling the position where I'm a coach and I coach young ladies, that I needed to back off of my passion a little bit because I need they find themselves their own passion.
The idea is teach the kids fundamentals, teach them tactics, technique, grow them. It'll come back to us. And we've done that, and I've done it in my career as a coach. She's the passion she brings as well, and we just started doing it that way. And it's not about the money.
Barreto and Palacios teamed up a couple years ago to create this new soccer program that is skill-centric as opposed to result-driven, not just on the field, but also away from it.
I want to be part of that and make that difference so they can learn from me being disciplined, be on time, and not just for them, the parents. Parents always learn the same as I teach to the kids, and I love it.
When you have players that are 25 that I've coached, hey coach, how you doing? And ring my doorbell and give me a hug. That is a payday.
And while their payday may not come in the form of money, that's not really the point. With the help of the U.S. women's soccer team and Gigi Barreto and Eddie Palacios, the soccer world is definitely inspired for years to come. Reporting for Naperville News 17, I'm Allie Coletta.
And if you have an idea for a sports feature, let us know at newstips@nctv17.com. A Naperville business hosted an event to bring moms and daughters and goats together. Naperville News 17's Madeline O'Connell has the story.
What's better than regular yoga? Goat yoga. This class, put on by Strong Selfie, gave moms and daughters the chance to connect, meditate, and make some new goat friends.
As moms, we're like, okay, what would we want to do with our girlfriends? It's the same things that we would want to do with our daughters. I want to go to goat yoga with my friends and have a blast. Why wouldn't I want to do that with my daughter?
Getting the chance to have quality time can be a stretch sometimes, which prompted Kristen and Stephanie to find a fun way to bring moms and daughters together with cute, furry guests. While the group jumped right in to work on their yoga poses, goats wandered around them, climbing on backs and being photo ready for all the selfies, allowing these women to focus on their breathing and their laughter.
We saw that it was coming here to Naperville, and we definitely had to give it a go.
I like when the goats came over and climbed on your back and stuff.
This event goes along with Strong Selfie's mission to empower girls to feel strong at a young age. They do that with events like this and their subscription boxes filled with gifts. Some of the poses incorporated the pairs to make them feel empowered together, and the goats even tried some poses of their own. Goat yoga is definitely not a bad way to reduce some stress. For Naperville News 17, I'm Madeline O'Connell.
This was the last of 4 goat yoga events hosted by Strong Selfie. And that's what's happening right here in your neighborhood, Naperville. We will see you next week, and until then, you can catch up on local news by signing up for our NCTV 17 News Update, delivered right to your inbox Monday through Friday. Sign-up information is right on our website, nctv17.com.
This week's Naperville News 17 is brought to you in part by the following sponsors. This program is partially funded by a grant from the City of Naperville.